So, thinking about human behavior on the studies of Jordan Peterson, on the Bible, on the religion of the psychology of Carl Jung, on Nietzsche, and on various things, I discovered that the more concrete your sense of salvator is, the less you are open to other sense of salvators, salvations. So, in case the salvator is someone like Jesus, who is both the greatest person of himself that he can be, and he has faith in humans to reach his status of wholeness of the self, both masculine and feminine energy. So a sense of aesthetics like this is very important to have in a person. Balance in both faith in himself and faith in others. And I said that masculine actions on oneself are positive, masculine action on the others are negative, and feminine action on oneself are negative, but on the others, on society, they are positive, because men tend more to think about themselves, while female, having to nurture a baby, think more also about the others. While finding a balance is very hard for both female and male. Males will tend to have more faith in themselves, while female more sends faith in others. And so what is masculinity, which I wanted to explicit and study on this video? I said that an imbalance of masculinity and femininity brings a person to action, and what he wants to achieve is the wholeness of the self. So he classifies a body, an ethnicity, or some people with the same sense of aesthetics. They want to diffuse it to more people, like in this case with Zyzz, that more people have to go to the gym because it's healthier physically, and physical health also contributes to mental health. And strong men in this society, especially in these times, are needed. And okay, so a sense of salvation can also bring to ignorance, but it also depends on the salvator, what he talks, what he states. Like in the case of biblically accurate angels, you can see that they have tons and tons of eyes, because of course you do not you have to save, you have already saved yourself, now you have gathered teachings and knowledge, and now you're capable of saving others, so you should do it, you should contribute to society in the best way possible. And then again, ambition is many times repressed in the West, in the US, and also in Europe. But why is that? It's because both positive ambitions and negative ambitions have are born from an imbalance to the faith in oneself and in faith in society. I think that there are enough people to who have a sense of aesthetics, which is follow your genetics and do the hard work, be the best version of yourself, and so on. I will not do anything if I think that the situation is okay, but as we can see, the situation is not okay. There are weak men are rising more than ever, because we were in the good times, and the good times create weak men, but now weak men are creating bad times, and the stronger men have to fix these bad times, and the juvenile society bring forth the masculinity, which again, as I was saying, masculinity is the source for both bad and negative ambitions. They are both two hero's journeys. So you can see yourself as a person, as a god, as a society of souls. Your souls work in a society, and you have to work yourself in the best possible manner. You have to be healthier to yourselves, like do workout that stimulates the whole system, like the respiratory, the cardiovascular, the muscular system, the skeletal system, and the neural system, and so on. So your cells are, let's say, happier to contribute to the society of cells, which is your body. And this can also be done, this paragon can also be done to society. A hero takes action. Toxic masculinity is a form of imbalance, more masculinity than femininity, which is a reminder I talked in my previous video, that someone is below in the social hierarchy compared to another one. So, for example, I have a salary who is higher than someone else, and I remind him that he's poor while I'm rich. That's an example. Or like, or even in violent terms, I think that you haven't done enough hard work. You were always lazy, and you insult others to be, because of your insecurity. You want to be more secure of yourself, and you insult others. So I tell you that you do not deserve to live, and I kill you. That's an example, of course. So, as I was saying, you can see the society as a body, which has normal cells and cancerous cells. Cancerous cells, you can see them as the problems of our society, or as Jordan Peterson says, the dragon of the unknown, the dragon of chaos. And your job as a healthy human being, which the healthier you are, the happier your cells are to contribute to your society, the better it is. So cancerous cells usually they disagree with the sense of aesthetics society imposes. So, in a certain sense, everyone who doesn't follow the norms, even in a society which denigrates muscular people, these people are considered as cancerous cells of society. But they can do good for the world if they become a cancer of the cancer of society that there is currently in, and help weaken and remove the cancer that has a society. Also, an hypertumor which is recently been discovered as a concept, which I like. So toxic masculinity is in this area, while usually the hero's journey is in this area, where you help defeat the dragon of chaos, either for yourself or for society. Or for yourself, if your body is healthier, you contribute. If you consider more yourselves, they are happier to be part of your body. They are proud of the society you are creating, and so on. So I explained it with this concept, which I found very interesting. Luckily, it was welcomed very well. And there are some critics like this video, and I saw that the like to dislike ratio has been 1 to 2. Yeah, like here, reject this. This guy. Yeah, it did not go well. Yes, indeed, there are people with their masculinity who do not have enough femininity to have a faith in a society that people can be better for the good way, and do horrible things like, you know, gangsters or Adolf Hitler, people like that. But obviously not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, for the love of God, Arnold is one of the most positive men and inspiring person to ever lived. Like, he said something that required balls, like it was a video on the self-made man. Yeah, he said that he got help in his way to become a bodybuilder, and that without the help he would not have made it. Which is not the thing you hear usually from like training gurus or things like that. That I made all the money for myself. Yeah, also no, that's very hard. And so Balkan Games is a great channel who does a lot of things like that. Yep. Like, what the hell is this? What on earth is this? Yes, this guy got monetized. However, he got demonetized for posting things like this, which is inspiring and so on. I don't think that. Yeah, exactly. That was the point where I wanted to go. Like, is like, people say that masculine is protecting others, while I disagreed on that because I believe that femininity is faith for someone you don't know, while masculinity is faith in oneself. And it was also the social identity theory. What the fuck is that? Oh. Basically, this explains in a bit racism, what it's all about, and social identity, social categorization, and so on. Like, you are part of a group with your same sense of aesthetics, like genetics, which is bettering yourself the best way possible, being the best possible version of yourself in terms of physical health and mental health. Like, it was this guy who made a video which became pretty famous, of Jordan Peterson. It got 3 million, if not more. Yeah, 3.2 million.
Do you think men are important?
Like, I think one person
give them this message that it's
okay. Should do the hard work, then should gather some knowledge, because one person who is who follows his genetics, his as Kierkegaard would call it, the leap of faith. Like, doing the most impossible task you can think of, and one common way to do it is to achieve perfection. Some other people, like Elon Musk, are genetically gifted in something else, which is being creative. And it's not a thing that's very common, being creative. Like the Pareto distribution explains how there are creative achievements that for most people, like 99.9%, it's similar to zero, while for some people it's something like 50, 80, or so on. It was in his last video with Woolwich, if I remember correctly. Yep. And yes, so I think that one person should, if one goes to the gym, is healthy, he should also train his mind, explain the truth better to the people, because he understood it, he saved himself, but then one task is to save the others. So you don't have to be alone to fight in this world. You can also convince more people to the truth.
Okay to be a man.
It's not okay. It's necessary. What the hell are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up. These men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers. They're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning. This thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death, and often literally. And the gratitude for that is sorely lacking, especially among the people who should be most grateful.
Yeah, the gratitude for that is most lacking, especially for the people who should be more grateful. People who take life for way too granted, like on the left side, where communism and asceticism are the non-life affirming stances, political stances, like transgenderism and so on. I will talk about it more later on Jordan Peterson's political stances. And here, why is masculinity marked as male dominated, like a characteristic of the male, while femininity of the female? Well, males masculinity is the sense of aesthetics, and the more masculine you are, the better your sense of aesthetics is. And then someone criticized my perception of art being subjective, not someone on YouTube, someone I know, and I would say, no, if there's a person I like, there's a girl I like, it's because as Kierkegaard would call it, the God inside me, the perfect innate God, the me with perfect qualities, like the genetic, the maximum genetic potential of me, likes that girl, like here. Well, if I'm here is also subjectively wrong, because it's here that the truth goes here. Also, I got told that Plato's Republic is communist, which is also wrong, because here is authoritarian, and usually communism is here, because you have to have a lot of rules under communism, like work yourself to death. There's no, in West Germany or East Germany. It was East Germany, the one near USSR. There were no unemployed, which is in part a good thing, because no unemployed, but also you have to follow strict rules. You have to everything correct. It's a very authoritarian communism, while Plato's Republic dictates himself on the beautiful, on the just, and on the true. So, if everyone knows these three attributes, the beautiful, the just, and the true, and you can also add Bentham's utilitarianism, the useful for society, and you go like this. There's no rules. It's like at the, which is right here at the base of libertarian. Like there are no rules. Here it's the amount of rules, like 0%, 100%. So no rules. So it's here. It's already not communism. And then it's it goes like this because Plato's Republic is dictated on the beautiful, on the truth, and on the just. So sense of aesthetics is more correct the more masculine you are. So people here are everyone in Plato's Republic as the wholeness of the self is perfect. So it's here. And Plato also said that no government can ever be perfect, that it's unachievable, because and then also Dostoevsky said that we have to create monsters. Even if the government is perfect, we have to make it imperfect in such manner, because in a perfect government you will know everything that happens with you in the next 30 years. And usually people seek safeness, they seek comfort, but there must also be some uncomfort. Like also Dostoevsky said that if you feed a man cake and you take him in a bath, you give him all the comfort possible, and you busy, and the only duty of humans are busy themselves with the propagation of species, they will go insane in a matter of minutes. So it's masculine because males have more means of spreading their genetics. Like they have a penis, you know, they can impregnate multiple women at the same time, and they don't have to be pregnant for 9 months, which is it has consequences, of course, like this was the Bateman's principle. Yes, variance in reproductive success is greater in males than females. Females always invest more energy to produce their offspring. Sperm are cheaper than eggs. Yeah, exactly. Let's see some graphs. I don't understand. What the hell is this? Well, interesting. I don't know. Yeah, and also some people said that males are the reproductive experiments of females since the dawn of time, or something like that. And so I saw in some videos of Zyzz that masculinity is also protecting others. Well, I disagree with that, because masculinity is indeed necessary to protect others, but if you save someone else, I will say that it's a feminine action. It's an action which has faith in the unknown, whereas the known, that it's usually yourself and the ones with your same or similar aesthetics, even if it's not always the case in the case of God and Satan, or Jesus and Judas, where Satan tried to betray God, and God sent him to the farthest place there is from him. And then Judas betrayed Jesus, and in Dante's Divine Comedy is now in the mouth of Satan, Lucifer, in one of the three heads. So, while female are more feminine, have more faith in others than males, because they have to carry a baby for 9 months, and then also for 6 months they have to take care of him, they have to feed him, they have to quit work, and so on. So the union of masculinity and femininity is totality. What Jung called the wholeness of the self, the thing we should strive for. And, I made some. So then Jordan Peterson pointed out that here is absolute pure masculinity, while going from down there was more femininity, because yes, way too much an imbalance of masculinity and femininity. More masculinity than femininity produces death. It's typical of a serial killer, because he doesn't trust others, so he just kills them rather than having to deal with them later. While imbalance of femininity and masculinity brings passivity and naivety, like you don't trust much in something. You have too much faith in others, and it's not that great of a thing. Like you can get scammed, you can literally die. That's a very bad thing, dying, you know. So, and masculinity is the faith in the perfect version of yourself, and you can have more of that if you have concrete proofs, like if you are muscular, if you have a great body, you need to develop it more in order to follow more of your masculinity and your perfect innate God in you. So you have more faith in yourself, you are more confident. So girls like to see in men, some shallow girls like to see in men their first appearance, like how beautiful he is, how muscular he is, because that's another sign of confidence. Because if you have more muscles, you have worked more, you know more than about sacrifice, about discipline than others. You have godlike attributes and so on. And Hassan Habi, in the video I criticized after the long break of I said that he's pretty masculine because he had muscles. Well, that's not necessarily the case. For example, one person one day can feel less masculine because he has less faith in himself, which is pretty normal, you know. There are days where people are weaker than others. There are days where people can do a deadlift personal record. So masculinity is not. So his body is a masculine feature, but masculinity is the faith in the best version of himself. The genetic man, the religious man, intrinsic in us.